Now we begin with the lecture proper. Okay. Now, urban regeneration. Okay, some of you may have come across urban regeneration. Some of you may come across urban renewal. And then some of you may ask, what's the difference between these two? Okay, the difference is, okay, urban regeneration, both are the same. Both are the same. Both means the same thing. Urban regeneration is the British English of that topic, and urban renewal is the equivalent in the US. So for today, we are going to discuss these important concepts: urban decline, urban decay, redevelopment, and also finally urban regeneration. Okay, decline will lead to decay. Decay will give rise to the need for redevelopment, which is a function of urban regeneration. So the big topic is urban regeneration. Okay. So this slide will show you what we're going to discuss in the next 5 slides. Okay, this is basically the mind map lah. If you, it's a summary of what is going to be discussed in the future 5 slides lah. Can come later, but I prefer to have it earlier. Okay. Now the process of urbanization, or the concept of urbanization. Okay. Basically, it means an increase in the population. Kan? So increase in the population, which may have been caused by migration from rural to urban areas of the population there. Okay, there must be pull and push factors. So I think, or I hope, during your undergrad or during your working years, you have come across the push factor, the pull factor. I'm not going to go into detail in the process of urbanization here. So those are all things that should have been covered before, not at master's level. Okay, and then population increase may also be due to natural reasons. Okay, birth rate, natural birth. Okay, so increase in population, it will cause the core urban area to expand, people to expand to the suburban areas. So this is known as suburbanization. Okay, then okay, what happens there? Suburbanization means people shifting outside from the urban core area. So the urban core is losing its population. So there needs to be a counter-urbanization or counter-urbanization strategy to pull back people or to prevent people from moving to the suburban areas. So this is known as counter-urbanization. If it's successful, you have the process of re-urbanization, whereby people come back to live or come back to work in the urban core area instead of moving outwards. Okay. Or the alternative to a successful counter-urbanization is de-urbanization. That means that the core urban area will lose people, and then it will decline, and then we are in trouble. Okay. So, like I said, this is the precursor of the next 5 slides. Okay. So this is the first slide: population size at stages of urban redevelopment. Now, at stage 1, this is the process of urbanization. Okay, whereby there's an expansion of the urban population. So stage 1, urbanization. Okay, urbanization is the meaning of urbanization is there will be an increase of people living in towns and cities. Okay, and the main activities in cities are industrial activities. Okay, you have manufacturing, you have services to facilitate the industrial activities. Okay, so the main type of activity is industrial activities, and workers are drawn from surrounding rural areas to the city for what? For better employment opportunities, for better income generation opportunities, for better amenities and facilities in the cities. You know this already. Things like better education opportunities, better schools. You have universities in the city area, not at the suburban area, urban fringe. Okay, so workers are drawn from surrounding areas to the city for a better quality and also better standard of living. Okay, so you have 3 areas of you have 3 urban areas. You have the urban core, you have the urban ring, and then you have the region, which is the macro area, the bigger area. So you have the core, the micro, the meso, the in the middle one, urban ring, meso area, and then you have a macro area of the urban areas. So the urban core, during the urbanization process, it will experience rapid growth. Okay, the core to the center of the city will experience rapid growth. So what will happen at the urban ring? Urban ring is the area from the at the surrounding of the core area. It will experience decrease in population because they move towards the city center. For what we said before, for better opportunities in the city center. Urban region as a whole, okay, will experience net growth. Net growth because the growth in the urban core will offset the decrease of population in the urban ring. Okay, so that's the first stage. The second stage, okay, is the urbanization and suburbanization stage. These two processes will occur: urbanization, suburbanization. So not only at the urban core, but also at the outside. Okay, so we go here, the stage 2. Stage 2, suburbanization, okay, begins to occur because the core area begins to be dense, Ada a lot of problems are starting to form in the urban core, so people are moving outside. Okay, so suburbanization means urban areas are spreading outwards. Okay, whereby the provision of transport facilities, public amenities, and housing are better at the urban fringe rather than the city center. So you have better road network, you have better public transport system. Okay, you have schools at the suburban area. Okay, you begin to have medical facilities there. So people, rather than be crammed at the urban core, they seek for better better living conditions outside the urban core. Industries and workers move away from the center, from the urban core as well. Okay, so both industries and workers, they move away from the center. Not only is the urban core being more densely populated, which can cause population congestion, increased crime rates. These are the conditions that reflect a certain decline in the urban core. So people move outwards. Okay, so what happens to the urban core? Still increase. Okay, the population still increase, but at a slower rate of growth. So the workers, when they see the conditions in the city center, they think again. Is it good for me to move in or just stay suburban and pay higher transport costs? So they think longer now. So before, maybe the pull factor of the city center is stronger. So that's why they don't think twice. Okay, they say, okay, we need to move to the city. Better employment opportunities, better commercial activities. But now, with the pollution, with the congestion, with the increased crime rates, with all the new problems, with the problems of urbanization, they think twice. They have another option, which is living at the suburban areas due to the better transport, better amenities, and better housing at the fringe, at the urban fringe. Urban ring, okay, population will increase, and at a certain point, its growth rate exceeds the urban cost growth rate. So this is when the urban rings population increase, the rate of increase will overcome or will be higher than the urban cost growth rate because of the attractiveness, the pull factor of the suburban areas are higher, stronger than the core area. And finally, urban region, okay, the macro area too, they still experience net growth because there's still an increase in the rate of population growth. Okay. Stage 3. Stage 3 is suburbanization proper. This one is when suburbanization is stronger than urbanization, and when you need to have counter urbanization. Okay, stage 3. Counter urbanization, people moving even further from suburban areas to smaller settlements outside the city. Because now, when they say even the suburban areas become crowded, become more like the congested city center, as they say, they want more, they want better living conditions. They move to small settlements outside the city. This is what's happening now in the Klang Valley area. Yeah, pay attention. So in the city core, the residential users begin to conflict with other users. This according to the highest and best use principle, okay? Highest and best use principle, whereby you want to obtain the optimum returns, not the highest return, optimum, the most optimum return on the site, okay, which is legally permissible, financially feasible, and the last one is physically possible. Things tu lah. Okay, so the residential use can now has to compete with commercial, with institution, no, not really lah. Commercial users lah normally, industrial no juga kan. So we have commercial users like retail and also office. Okay, when the returns, the rent, sorry, not returns, when the rent from office and retail users are higher than the rent that the landowner can get from the residential users, of course they will choose the office and the retail users because higher rent than the residential users. Rent here, I'm not referring to the monthly rent. I'm referring to the monetary benefit from the land, monetary income from the land. It's a land economy term, not really the monthly rental or annual rent. I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to the monetary benefits, the income from the land. Kan? Because in land economic theory, okay, the usage of the land is determined by the rent that you can get out of the land. So the higher the rent that you can obtain, you will choose that use. So that is the apa nama tu, the highest and best use principle, okay, at play. Existing road network cannot cope with number of commuters. Yes, okay. So counter urbanization, the existing road network cannot cope with number of commuters. Congestion reduces accessibility of workplace in city center. So now you take longer to commute from your houses to the workplace. Accessibility, increased travel time, increased cost. Traffic cost is not just your petrol, your toll, but also accidents must be taken into consideration as well. Accidents, although they don't occur regularly to you, but as a whole to the population, if the traffic is high enough, it will increase the cost caused by accidents. Okay. Accident. Then what happens to the population at urban core? It will begin to decrease. So this is when the urban decline, urban decay. Urban decline lah first, then urban decay has stepped in. Urban ring increase at a rapid growth. Okay, and then finally at the macro level, stable, or you are having a net decline. Okay. Stage 4 is the deurbanization, re-urbanization or deurbanization, depending on counter-urbanization, the strategy, whether it works or not. Okay, re-urbanization is when the counter-urbanization strategy works. People moving back to the city if government introduces renewal policies that boost economic development and employment, but deurbanization will occur and people keep moving away from the city if unemployment and decentralization are not stopped by the government. Okay, so the causes of this, the deurbanization, traffic and other urban problems spreading to the ring area. Instead of being restricted to the core area, now the problem has spread to the outer areas. And then what happens to the population change at the core? It will increase if the strategy of counter-urbanization works. If the government manage to stop the loss of population in their city planning or the planning strategies, but decrease if deurbanization, if people move away from the city due to the failure in the counter-urbanization strategy. Urban ring Okay, as a whole, the population will decrease. And urban region stable if re-urbanization, but net decline if de-urbanization. Okay. Now, so we move on. So these, I mentioned just now, urban decay and urban decline, right? So what are these? What are these concepts? Urban decay and decline. Deterioration of the inner city may be caused by lack of investment and maintenance and due to exodus to suburban or countryside. So the first one is in the control of the government lah, because they can they can implement strategies that can attract investment, and also they do the maintenance. So if they do not implement good policies to promote investment and they fail to provide proper maintenance to the city center, things like repairing the road condition or repairing the street furniture or ensuring security and safety of the inner city population. If the government fails to do that, okay, the inner city will deteriorate. It will deteriorate, dia akan jadi buruk lah, dia akan jadi teruk. And depopulation due to exodus. Exodus means a mass moving away of the population from the city center to the suburban or to the countryside area. Urban decay. Okay, that's the difference between decay and decline. There's a difference in terms of concept, but in terms of language, maybe they say it's the same. But we are talking about concepts now, so we must highlight the differences. Decay is urban rot. Decay is urban blight. Urban rot, urban blight. Okay, so if I must link these two concepts together, I will say that decay is a subset of decline. Okay, now decay, urban rot, this is the physical element of the deterioration just now. Urban decay, the process whereby a previously functioning city or part of a city falls into disrepair and dilapidation. So like I said before, more physical, disrepair and dilapidation refers to the poor physical condition of the city, or part of the city. Urban decline is characterized by a decline in population numbers, decreased economic performance, and increased unemployment. So decline is the bigger picture. Here you can see here, bigger picture. So it's a bigger concept, meaning it's a decrease in population numbers, in economic performance, and also in relation to that, increased unemployment. So these are some of the symptoms, some symptoms of urban decay and decline. You can see here. If you see this, okay, you can say that decay and decline have set in the city. So just look at this and think if you can see this in the city you are living in. So you have deindustrialization. Deindustrialization means the manufacturing industry have stopped operating in the area. They have moved out. They no longer operate there. So big cities like Detroit, big cities like what else? Detroit, what they call car cities in the US, they display this deindustrialization. Okay, and also I read about this city, a small city in Scotland that completely was obliterated when the major industry there cannot remember. It's a factory that services a major industry in another big city. Okay, so once that major industry in the big city stops, request for supply from this small factory, the factory has to close down, the whole town has to shut down. So deindustrialization. Abandoned buildings. Okay, if you see abandoned buildings, that means decay and decline have set in. Desolate, inhospitable city landscape. This is taken in KL, Chowkit Road. High local unemployment. Okay, you have crime. You have political disenfranchisement. Okay, political disenfranchisement, or such a big word. Okay, when you see people picketing, when you see people apa nama tu picket when they do mass gatherings to protest, that shows you there's a feeling of discontent among the population about something. So what is the issue? So you just look at the what do you call it, at the labels or at the placards that they bring to the protest lah. You see here, so that is the issue, the big issue in the city. You have to address that, okay? Or it will lead to worse conditions in the city, worse decline in the city. And other symptoms are depopulation, people moving out of the city, economic restructuring. Now, depopulation, what is the indicator? If you see a lot of for sale, for rent properties, so that is an indicator of depopulation. Economic restructuring. Okay, you can see some cities they do major restructuring. They shift the focus of the economy from one to another. They declare, okay, now we are focusing on this. That is economic restructuring. Fragmented families. So problems on the social side. Fragmented families. So we have 1 minute, which means that I'm going to stop now. I don't want to disrupt the next slide. Okay. But meet me shortly, 5 more minutes boleh, because I have to reschedule on Zoom. So I will provide the Zoom link on your Spectrum. So I will stop now. Go to your Zoom. Now, after this. So I'm going to end the meeting now. Right, so how do I shut?